Afternoon, everybody. My name's Brent Jones. Sorry I couldn't be with you all today. I had a little plane flight to catch. But I'd still like to share with you some of the stuff I've been researching recently on the Japanese sex industry, with an eye towards the host and hostess clubs. Now, I don't know how much everyone knows about them. I myself only knew a very limited amount, but it's one of those things that everyone talks about, but no one gets. No one really understands. They just know it's there. So I was able to find a lady named Anne Allison, who wrote this book, Night Work. And in it, she details the 4 months that she worked in Roppongi as a hostess at a hostess club, and give you some insight on what a hostess club is, who's going there, why they're going there, the effect of them going there, who's working there, why they're working there, and then if we have some time to compare it to the host club, which is a more modern phenomenon that's popping up nowadays. So first off, what is a hostess club? A hostess club, when you first walk in the door, is a place set up impeccably. A grand piano, way over the top decorations, marvelously attended to. Absolutely the perfection of appearance. And from the second you walk in the door, a line of women come out at your beck and call and say, "Irashimasu," or something to that effect. And from that point on, you are taken care of very well. You're also paying for it very well. But you are seated at a table. One or two hostesses will come over, one on each arm, paying more for the situation. But what you're going to have then, they'll bring you drinks. You have to buy your own alcohol. Not only do you buy your own alcohol, they actually keep the alcohol that you buy. So every time you buy a bottle, they store that bottle with your name on it. So the bottle, which is exorbitantly overpriced, is the same bottle you'll get when you come back. And if you don't come back, well, there's this bottle of alcohol that you paid a large price for that's sitting in a corner. And as you drink the alcohol that you've now paid way too much for, the hostess's job usually is to cater to a group, because you're not going there alone. You're probably a higher level businessman, and you're going there with a group of people, probably your coworkers, sometimes your friends, but more likely you're there after having finished a day at the company. So you want to relax, you want to unwind, and this hostess club is a great excuse to do so. The hostess's job in this case becomes continuing conversation, starting new conversations, and making sure everyone has a good time, all through a more sexual motif of the hostess. The hostess club, the way it's set up, the one that Ann Allison worked at was called Bijin, and it was in Roppongi and considered a higher class club. There was about 5 to 10 hostesses working at any given time in a capacity of about 40 to 50 customers. And there's one mama who is the lead, who runs the place, who is just fantastic at her job, remembers every customer's name and every detail about them. That's why she's the mama. A group would come in, one or two hostesses would sit with them, spend the night there, talking however long they would stay, and then leave. It's a fairly simple process, but there's more to it. So now that we have a bit of a background on what Hostess Club is, let's take a look at who's going to Hostess Club. Well, the patronage is going to be mostly high-level businessmen, in this case around 40 to 65, because going to a high-level hostess club demonstrates the businessman's power. Many times new clients are brought out on these evening outings, and they're made to show the power, the spending power of the company which is being represented at these sektai, which are the after-work outings. So the more expensive a hostess club they can afford to go to, the better it looks for the clientele as far as their buying power goes. So a lot of it, in addition to drinking with pretty girls and having these wonderful nightly conversations in this relaxed atmosphere, also comes with buying status. Both the hostess and the salaryman know, however, that they're playing this role of farce, but illusion is the goal. Early on, a younger salaryman might find this fake, uh, but you kind of have to go. If your senpai says that you're going out to the hostess club that night, saying no would put you on weird man's out. Therefore, you're gonna go. And over the time, you go on enough of these outings, you start getting used to having your ego stroked in this way, and you're releasing the hone of your businessman's personality, which is usually in a slew of crude jokes directed either at the hostess's body or insulting your boss. And these might seem like simple things, but when you break it down, when you get to insult the hostess's body on this crude level, I mean, as Anne points out, it's not uncommon to say for businessmen to say, "Oh, where'd your breasts go today? It doesn't seem like there's any in there." The hostess will never say anything against that. She'll just look down her shirt and say, "Oh, I guess you're right." Therefore, no advance is rejected, and that gives them a sense of power. On the other end of things, when you're with this group, the boss will say, "Breakashimashou ka," which is the ignoring of social ties that would otherwise bond senpai to kohai. So now, under this new understanding of the relationship, you're allowed to talk to your boss on the level you would talk to any coworker, which is important given the strict relations that you're going to have at work on a day-to-day basis. Because then you can build these sort of relations outside of the office and take them back in the office, and it allows you to let off steam. Some people have said their boss was a jackass 100% of the time, except when he was outside of the company drinking at these sort of hostess clubs where they could see he was still a real person outside of the work experience. Now, even though real conversations do occur, mostly everything's kept on this joking and lighthearted level. Another thing that becomes important then is even these minor details are remembered by the hostess and especially by the mama, so that each guest is made to feel special by the fact that they're there. So, for instance, a mama will maybe force one of the new comers to the club to stand up and do karaoke with her, no matter how badly he sings. She's just so spectacular that everyone applauds for a lengthy amount of time. A waiter comes over to take a picture, and she signs it, hands it to him, and he becomes the conversation topic for the next 10 minutes, and it makes a special memory, and odds are he's going to come back to that club. So it's in the interest of both to continue to go there, both for business relations and for the club's own profitability to pay for the hostesses and the mama and the club atmosphere. But what about the impact outside of the club? Everyone's having a good time inside of it. A lot of these men have families and have wives at home. Tadaka, a manager of an architectural firm, said that he works long and hard and doesn't wish to hear petty domestic trivialities from his wife upon returning home, and it's her job to tend to all matters of the house while he fulfills his role as a provider. But because of this perspective, the husband and wife have separate duties. And while this perspective isn't all businessmen, it's definitely not an uncommon one to have. Though, on the other side of things, the wife, upon hearing about her husband's knightly, manly behavior, was relieved that such an attitude was expressed on the outside of the household, as she would not want to see her husband acting in such a crude and lecherous drunken manner. This also frees the women to interact more as they please. While their husbands are off working these long hours and long nights, they can pursue more of their own hobbies and do what they want with their children and with other wives. Although many do complain about loneliness or wishing their husband would contribute more to the family. And while husbands are out flirting with these other women, possibly going to, say, Opai Pabu, Pinkasoron, Toroko, other places that are definitely more sexual in nature in terms of services, any husband hearing of their wife cheating or going out to such a place is probably going to file for divorce. So there's kind of an unfair double standard here. Well, who works at a hostess club? I have a little bit more time. I'd like to say that the women working here know what they're doing. They're aware of the situation they're putting themselves in. And the thing they're after most of all, according to Anne and according to other interviews, is money. Anne's examples of people working there are young women who just want clothes, fewer working hours, and more money, older women looking to supplement their husband's income, and OL saving up capital for their own business. So in the end, both people end up getting what they want.